in the U.S., we're used to saying that the British are coming, right? So there's a steady trickle of American exports heading across the pond, as we like to say.
That's right.
The latest is the Smithsonian. Last month, they said they're considering opening a new 40,000 square foot exhibition space in London's Olympic Park. Mayor, you've noted that you wanted to make sure that some of the space didn't go to waste, right, after the Olympics. So how do you feel about this?
It's incredible what's happening. I love the way you put that graphic up there. It's an amazing thing that's happening in that part of East London. We're creating basically a new city in that area, or a new urban district. There'll be tens of thousands of homes, hundreds of thousands of people, eventually loads and loads of new jobs. And so what we decided to do after the Olympics was not just to have infill housing around all those venues, but to create a new dynamic economic centre. And we've got a university coming there, UCL is coming there, great world-class London University. We have the Victoria and Albert Museum is going to build a new outpost there. And the Smithsonian, which I remember going to when I was tiny, the great, this epic Washington institution is going to build its first international, we are in discussions. In discussions, I should say.
Oh, you might have let slip that it's going to happen.
We're in discussions with them. Oh, well, we hope, we're hopeful, but we're in discussions.
Right, it is their first international outpost.
Yeah, if it happened, it would be their first.
Well, speaking about a first international outpost, so the NFL, multi-billion-dollar organization, has for years, been playing one international game in London.
I've been to see it. I've been to twice. I saw the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We have photos of you at some of these games, including with Bob Kraft, who, by the way, just won the Super Bowl.
Very nice guy.
Did you call him?
I know. I must do that. Well,
you should.
Bob, well done winning the Super Bowl wherever you are. Yes. That's right. Well, look, we would love to get an NFL franchise in London. It has huge support. You cannot believe. I mean, I was amazed getting the tube to Wembley on the day of the Metro. What you call it, on the day of the Super Bowl, the day of the American football match. I could not believe there were hundreds of thousands of people, and not just Americans in London, but Brits who love this game.
And do you like the game?
I like a game with an oval ball. The only game in which I was moderately competent, was rugby. But I can see the brilliance of American football, but I have to admit that rugby is my game.
So how close, though? How close is London, or how close are you to bringing an NFL franchise there? Is it the Jacksonville Jaguars?
You'd have to talk to the commissioner, and you'd have to talk to the NFL. But I think that we're making progress, and I certainly think there's an excitement. I certainly think the Jacksonville Jaguars is the franchise that's been most frequently mentioned, and if it happens,
they're playing again in October,
which is fantastic news. And if it happened, it would be massively popular in London.
You are a huge cyclist, are you not?
I'm trying to be less huge, but cycling doesn't make much difference to that. I cycle the whole. There
you are.
Yeah, that's right.
There's Boris bikes all around town. By the way, do we have this BBC footage, guys? You did this fantastic interview with Jeremy. There you are, the two of you and Jeremy, laughing off of my chair on this. You and Jeremy Paxton, who's a famous anchor in the UK.
Yes.
On so-called Boris bikes, right? So we have those here.
That's right.
In New York, and you just mentioned huge. Cycling has now become a big exercise
It's incredibly important to civilize our cities with environmentally friendly ways of getting around. Encouraging walking, planting trees, making the place beautiful, but cycling is critical to it. And we've seen a massive increase in cycling in London. We've put in those hire bikes. That's, in fact, a very old-fashioned, lethal
You're in the front, right?
Tandem bike. Yeah, I wouldn't let him do it. That's a lethal tandem. We are seeing such a demand for cycling that we're having to put in some quite controversial new cycle highways. And I know that you did this in New York, and the trick of it really is just to carry the public with you and to get over the importance of making cyclists feel safe. New cyclists, particularly female cyclists, very often, looking at the figures, do feel intimidated by being jumbled in with heavy traffic. Where you can segregate, where you can create consecrated space for cyclists, it's not a bad idea. And
do you get the whole fad? Because I believe no, listen to this. So David Beckham, I believe, is on this as well. Soul Cycle, a fixed stationary bike, and you're there, and you're tapping it, and you're cycling and losing weight. Do you get this?
No. That's beyond me. No, but I cycle very slowly on my push bike. I cycle at about the speed of an elderly French onion seller. I don't break the sound barrier. It doesn't do much for my weight, but it makes you feel good when you arrive. I tell you, anybody think you're taking up a bike, it makes you feel good. When you arrive at meetings, you are in an irritatingly good mood and full of ideas.
I can imagine. Soul Cycle, by the way, I mentioned Soul Cycle because they're launching their first. It's huge here.
Is it really? I don't know.
In the US,
well,
but they're launching their first outpost in London.
Okay,
so that's why I mention it.
Well, thank you. We'll look out for it.
And before we go, I promised you this morning some gifts, right? So
you did. That was very funny.
You can't be a good hot-blooded Brit without loving a pint, right?
No,
am I right? Okay. So
right.
do you have a favorite pint?
It would be London Pride.
Okay, all right, there you go. There's I read through this research. There's 1,400.
So without any prejudice to other London ales, beers.
Is this cold? It's
stouts.
Here you go. This is courtesy of our microbrews, craft beers around the United States.
My God.
This is the
But it's imported from Bavaria, it says.
Just the boxes, okay? So here you go. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you so much, Siberian Night. Thank you very much.
Cheers to the mayor.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Boris Johnson, Mayor of London.
Well, I'm much obliged. Thank you, Betty. Thank you. That's
for
fantastic.
joining us.
Thank you. We'll have that later.
Yes, we will, afterwards.